have to beat Bigfoot, the most famous truck of all. And where did Bigfoot come from? Well, we went to find out. It was here in 1976 that Bob Chandler invented and developed the first monster truck, now known throughout the world as Bigfoot. It was from these humble beginnings in this small shop just outside of St. Louis, Missouri, that grew the hottest new motorsports phenomenon to hit America in years. But that's history. Today, the shop is in a new location with over 23,000 square feet of retail space. And that includes 18 huge working bays for everything from building monster trucks to the repairing of all types of four-wheel drive vehicles. And the man responsible for all that, indeed, is Bob Chandler. 10 years ago, you couldn't imagine all this was going to happen.
I had no idea, Jan. It started as a hobby. I had no idea this would come out of it.
Let's go back to that little small shop there that we saw in the beginning. What'd you have, about three little working areas?
Had 3 bays. One of them was our long-term bay. It was between the other 2. So we had 2 doors to get in the building, and the center job was usually Bigfoot's because it was always in there for long periods of time working on it.
Four-wheel drive has really become a phenomenon in the country. I don't mean just the monster trucks, but there are people racing in the deserts, and you even see them on the streets with big wheels on them. 10 years ago, how big was four-wheel drive?
In St. Louis, I think there was 3 trucks, and one of them was mine 10 years ago. That's where I started, and I opened up a four-wheel drive shop, Midwest Four-Wheel Drive Center. And I started putting every product that I could on it, showing off what could be done with a four-wheel drive vehicle, and it started to become a sport in this area. And then I had a lot of, the business really picked up after that.
Bigfoot is certainly one of those vehicles that's loved not only by adults but children as well, and there's a cartoon series.
Yeah, it's on Sunday morning. It's called Bigfoot and the Muscle Machines. Of course, it features Bigfoot and Paul Ewing's Black Gold.
That's a pulling truck.
Right, and Orange Blossom, which does the wheel stands, and Warlord.
Little funny car.
Right, and it's a good guy, bad guy type cartoon.
We're going to show you some footage here that has not been seen before. Can you kind of explain this for us?
This was filmed at the Gravel-Rama this year, and they've got a hill called the Big Eliminator, which nobody's supposed to make up. And it's 70-degree angle, and it's 270 feet high, and it's pea gravel.
Now, you look like you're all over the place going back and forth here.
I had a hard time climbing this hill. There was 500 Jeeps on it before I was on it, and they had rutted the middle of it out. Well, my truck's so wide, I was fighting, going from one side to the other, and I had it one time, I had it up on one tire. I didn't make it, but one of these years I'm going to make it.
All right, that's the hill climb footage. Now let's take a look at something else that I find fascinating, and that's wheelies. Tell us a little bit about this.
Well, we hook up to a 50,000-pound sled, and we hook our hitch right so we can pull the sled. We can pull the sled all the way down. The guy can't stop us with a sled, but we set it so the truck at the other end of the track starts doing wheel stands, and it'll go down part of the track on 2 tires, which to me is almost an impossibility to take a 13,000, 14,000-pound vehicle and do a wheel stand, but it's a lot of fun.
My favorite piece of footage that Bob brought along to show us today is Bigfoot 4. And earlier this year, he took Bigfoot 4 and crushed, not cars, but monster trucks. Tell us a little bit about that.
We always experiment with anything we can around here. Anytime we put a new vehicle out, we'll do all the experimenting here before we go out in front of the public, and that was one of the things we experimented with and decided, well, this is the only time we're going to do it, so.
Inventor and innovator. Bob Chandler, thank you very much.
Thank you, Jan.
2 heavy metal machines ready to go. It'll be the Monster Vet and Bigfoot. One of them will go into the finals when we return. Fast into the cars now. Side by side they race. Into the mud goes Bigfoot. Bigfoot is your leader. Monster Vet, one valiant effort here at the end. Let's see if he can pull it off. It will be Bigfoot, your winner.
Made it Bigfoot, and the vet tried to catch him, but he just couldn't do it.
And that will bring together 2 of the most exciting monster trucks in America in the National Championship Finals coming up. Claude Akins, tell me, do you think one of these heavy trucks could float on water?
Oh, sure, like a rock.
Well, we're going to find out right now as we go to Cypress Gardens, Florida.
Well, monster truck really race on the water. Joining me today is David Spiker, owner of the trucks involved in this race. David, just how can a 13,000-pound monster truck race on water?
Well, Sandy, the tires are 6 foot tall, a little over 4 foot wide. There's 16 pounds of air pressure at each tire.
Now, 16 pounds. I have 32 pounds of air pressure in my car, and it certainly won't race on this water.
That does prove to be confusing sometimes. That's pounds per square inch. And there's a lot of square inches out there in those big tires, so they're supposed to float.
There they go, David.
Right. They're off.
The All-American looks like it's getting into the water pretty quickly.
I couldn't believe it. He went way down. The Eagle's jumping off pretty fast. Here comes the little one. They had a little trouble getting off the line there. That's good, though. Yeah. It's about the way I expected.
So is there a difficulty in the balancing that they got to control here with those tires?
Well, they just have to make sure that they look forward and see which way they're headed. They got to look back and see which way the rear steering is headed. It's really a complicated situation.
Well, I assume it is. What's the value of one of these trucks, David?
I got a little over $200,000 invested in each one of them. I don't believe I would take that for them.
Yeah, that's a lot of money involved out there on 30 feet of water right now, David.
I tell you that, and I figure if I'm going to sink one of my trucks, I'm going to do it on national television.
The little one really looks like it's not doing too well back there. It's really floating back.
It looks like he's losing ground, doesn't it?
It doesn't look like he's made much of a gain, but the All-American is really coming in right now very sharply.
The Eagle's coming on strong now. The All-American's probably about 2 truck lengths ahead.
Yeah, and look at the Eagle is really blowing over to the side. He's not having nearly the control that the All-American seems to have.
Well, Michael's been around for quite a while. He's got a lot of experience, and he taught Larry everything he knows, and I think he left a few tricks out. The All-American's coming on strong now. He's making a dash for the finish line.
I don't think it's any question who's going to win this race.
No, I think he's got him. There's no doubt about it.
Congratulations, All-American.
All right.
Michael Spiker, you did a great job there. Well, thank you for being with us, David.
Well, it's my pleasure, Cindy. I'm just glad we didn't sink any.
Well, we are too. Well, gentlemen, we've proved it. Monster trucks do float. So this is Cindy Wilcox from beautiful Cypress Gardens, Florida Showplace, sending it back to you, Jan and Claude, at the Louisiana Superdome.
Well, we now know that monster trucks can float on water. And here's a young man who will be floating on cloud number 9 if he wins here today, Jeff Dane. And this is Jim Kramer, and he's also ready to go. By the way, not all monster trucks can float on water.